Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode 2 in the book of Thessalonians. That is, we're in season 8, and we're just starting out in Thessalonians. We've done one little introduction, and yesterday we learned that Paul starts with a prayer to the Lord about the Thessalonians, and he says that he's going to remember them before God. Nothing fancy, just mentions them, does it regularly, talks about their faith, their hope, their love. And then what he does is he focuses on them, and then he backs the camera up, and he gets a larger perspective, and he says that, brothers, you are loved by God, and he has chosen you. So not only are you in my heart, so to speak, you're in God's heart. Let's back the view up that he has loved us so much that he chooses us and elects us, and that their election is undergirded by the favor of God, and therefore it's secure and lasting. So then he's going to talk about the practical witness that Paul and his minions, who are Sivanus and Timothy, have had with them. So this is from chapter 1, verse 5.5. You know what kind of men we proved to be among you for your sake. And you became imitators of us and of the Lord. For you received the word with much affliction. You received the word in much affliction with the joy of the Holy Spirit, so that you became an example to all the believers in Macedonia and in Achaia. For not only has the word of the Lord sounded forth from you in Macedonia and Achaia, but your faith in God has gone forth everywhere, so that we not need say anything. For they themselves report concerning us the kind of reception we had among you, and how you turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, Jesus, who delivers us from the wrath to come. So here's what I'd like to do today. I want to talk about imitation. He starts by saying, you know what kind of men we proved to be. In other words, you started well. You watched us. And of course, this emphasizes our individual witness and our character and our presentation, if you will, of ourselves to the world. And this incredible, incomprehensible, above our pay grade message is delivered amongst our fellow brothers and sisters in these vessels of dust. And our point here is that we're supposed to try to make our vessels attractive and win some packages, because he says you became imitators of us. Now, they were there for 3 weeks, and he sent Timothy back up to them. It doesn't say how long Timothy was there. And now Timothy's back down the peninsula, back in Corinth, which is where this letter is being written from. But he reports, you became imitators. Remember back in Galatians chapter 12, Paul also says, I entreat you to become as I am. And we looked at back in season 6, episode 18, and we got a big kick out of that. And the whole podcast was about, imitate me, of what we could say here today, imitate me, except, and then we made a little, checklist, except for my financial life, or sex, or because of my purity life, or my tongue life. And Paul doesn't say that. He says, become as I am, period. So we preach, obviously, with our words, but we also preach with our walk and our habits and our honesty and our generosity. We preach with our self-control, etc. All right, so let's look at the Thessalonians, and specifically, let's talk about all the things that they do right. So first of all, they have the right circumstances. That is, their circumstances are one of affliction. And you may say today is, Christianity can't be for me. My life's a mess in whatever category you have affliction, whether that might be, health affliction, or financial afflictions, or relational affliction, or something physical, or maybe consequences from old sins. Well, I got news for you. You're in great company. That's what they have as well. Then they choose a good example. As who do they follow? Who do they follow on Instagram, so to speak? And they choose not the bad examples, they choose a good example, who is Paul and Timothy and Silas. And then they start with the right behavior, which is they receive him and believe, and then they change and they become imitators. Then they have the right attitude, which is joy, which is so hard. I was thinking, is your life characterized by being the Christian Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh? Just kind of a mopey dopey thing. And we see the Thessalonians here is their attitude is joy, even amidst affliction, even amidst change, even amidst having to drop their idols and their sort of way of life. And I was thinking about, well, why should we not have joy? Well, consider, this Christian walk is absolutely difficult. There's no question about that. But consider the alternatives of being abandoned. And then the final thing is they result in the right results, which is their witness sounds forth. I love this. It's almost like a trumpet of them. And then other people have told us your story. So even third hand now, he's saying that your witness has gone forth. All right, so practically, number one, circumstances. You probably have some affliction in your life. If so, you're in good company. Secondly, start with the right way. And there's probably, I hope there's people that are listening to this who have not received the Lord, have not believed in him, and kind of stand as enemies with God. Well, thank you for listening. I am so glad you're here. Let's start with that. And then if maybe some of you are in the wrong crowd and imitating the wrong people, and there's probably some people in and some people out after you become a believer. And then certainly the right attitude. Oh my goodness, let's be joyful people. Let's have our faith sound forth and be a good witness that third-hand people can give the right report about us. So if we ask people around you, what would their report be of you? Would it be one of joy and change and good witness? I thank you for listening. I thank you for wherever you are in your walk, whether you're starting with the right start, or trying to change your right attitude, or working for the right report in other people. Wherever it is, I am so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're walking with me this little walk through the book of 1 Thessalonians. Thanks for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.